What's going on? Welcome back into TFEs podcast, Dalen and Kelsey. Not just back for the podcast, but back together.
Yeah.
I've been gone 4 days. You were gone 2, one extra day after I was gone. So nothing like sitting down and doing a podcast before you even get to catch up as humans, couples, friends, all of the above. We're just going to say hello for the first time basically right here.
I didn't think of it like that. It's an interesting proposition. Maybe risky. I don't know.
Risky. Okay. We're going to get right into it today because Dalen has a lot of thoughts, feelings, and emotions, or maybe he doesn't. He's trying to figure out what they are. I think we have some sports stuff we're actually going to have to talk about too, since I just got back from the national championship. Yeah. And we're going to see if this microphone works out for me or if it tips over because it's doing something weird today. This is what happens when you touch things in the house.
We could have done this before we started. I thought you seemed fine. I don't know. We had to rejigger mine a few times, but yeah, that was moved about 6 inches, and clearly it's a big issue.
It seems like it's not balancing anymore, but make for interesting listen if it tips over or watch. Thoughts, feelings, emotions off the top for you, Cal.
I don't know. I feel like I'm in this like funk, and I don't know why that is. It's hard. I feel like that's one weird thing through this like process of therapy and then doing art, like getting so close with you and having these, ability to communicate what I think or when I feel or what my emotions are. It's when I can't identify them, it like bothers me. I feel like I don't know, and I feel like down and like bummed, and it shouldn't be that way. Like I'm coming home, like I was excited to see you. I shouldn't say was, like a past tense. I was excited. I was in theory excited to see you and Ace this morning, and then I was like, I've got to obviously get up last night. I should say get up real early, flight, get back here, and I don't know if it was like on the trip I was, and some of it I was texting you about, like I don't know if it was like seasonal depression. It's this time of the season where the basketball season starts to get really intense, and there's no real light at the end of the tunnel. We're a good 2 months and change from season being over, but busy is important. Like you got to be busy now, like especially now. Like busy means you're working, which means you're getting paid, which avoids some real potential financial and real issues that aren't just emotional but like livelihood. So those are good problems to have, but I don't know. I feel so to go by a structure. My thoughts are like, what's up, dude? What's wrong with you? What's going on? Feelings are just a little down, a little bummed, and the emotions are like a little I don't know if it's concerned for that. I don't understand what's going on. It's a little strange because it is weird when one great thing about our relationship is once we started to date, we were really obsessed with getting back together again, and would talk about it quite a bit and be so excited to get back together. And that's not any different now. It just feels different today. Like I didn't feel like I came in like I normally would come home. And I don't know why that is. That's why I find that concerning.
Not to make a joke when you're being serious, but do you think it was because Dace was a jerk when you walked in and didn't come over and see you?
Well, if you want to get real, maybe that's part of it. And it's not that he's a jerk. It's that there is an element of, and when you took him to the doctor, and I did not go to the doctor's office with you guys. I just had walked in, and I think you wanted me to go, but I wasn't going. I'm happy to salt the driveway though. That was great. And then cut my finger trying to shovel something.
See what happens when you touch things in the house.
Exactly. See, I shouldn't do it. I shouldn't be doing these things. Paying somebody.
Hire somebody.
Maybe you should be doing it. There you go. Maybe that's part. There is a mundane nature to having kids, like the everyday of it. And I mean, maybe it is like if I would love to come home and just sit on the couch with you and do nothing and like stare at the TV or watch a show or talk to you and talk about like what you did at the national championship and what it was like and all the things we didn't talk about. Because I do think a lot of our conversation at times just centers on Dace. So when you're gone, you ask me all questions about him. When I'm gone, I don't tend to ask you all questions about him.
I was wondering what you were going to say.
You just tell me all the things about him, and I want to talk about you, but I don't know if you really want to talk about you or us or anything else.
That's not true.
Well, I mean, when there's no small windows, when you're doing this and I'm doing like, there's not much time. So when you think about like, it's not him being a jerk. It's just the reality of the situation. I think it's. I was looking at what are the weekends we have to look forward to after? Maybe we're unpacking this. Looking at the weekends we have to look forward to after the season and things like to be excited about. Trying to plan or see what's there for us. There aren't that many weekends. Now, granted, there's spring break where we're going to do something with Lero and like in Dace and Buddy's wedding, which will be fun, which will be me and you. But I was trying to like, where do me and you fit in?
Mm-hmm.
Like, where do just you and I fit in?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like struggling to find that time. And I aborted before we found an answer. So that leaves you kind of in that space. And then I come home and your son just like basically slaps you in the face metaphorically and physically. And maybe that was just it.
Well, you got home earlier than I thought, and Dace had just finished a meltdown and was laying on me on the couch. And I was like trying to make him laugh. So I didn't even hear you opening the door because he's in the phase now where like usually he sprints the door and is so excited. And I had been telling him like, Dad.
Well, hold on. Not to cut you off. I don't think it's his reaction. I think it's
no,
more
I'm
the
just,
reality of like what I don't like want to do is like if we're now going to make this about like Dace's reaction to me coming in, that ain't it.
Well, that's what I said. But I'm saying because I was saying he was being a jerk because he didn't like he was talking about you when you were gone and kept saying, Daddy, car, and I'm like, well, he's coming in a car after he's in the airplane. And then I would say excited, and he's like excited. So he was all pumped for you to come home, and then you came home, and we didn't even hear you open the door, and you were just like standing there. Now that's why I was saying Dace was being a jerk because normally he's in this phase where he runs over and he gets all excited about people. So I was making a joke about that. I hear what you're saying about the mundane part of having kids because it is. It turns into days that are either predictable because there's certain things that you have to do for the kids or completely unpredictable because they're sick or whatever pops up that you can't predict. But that's, I guess, the mundane part of it too is like, there's always going to be something.
Well, maybe that's because obviously Lero was sick all last week. So that's a whole
where
different
that
thing
thought came
So
from.
it's like, and then we're wondering if he's going to get sick or you going to get sick and you got to travel. And then that becomes, we've already documented that well in this pod, how that sends you down a spiral. Like,
I think I've done very well in my spirals lately.
Done great with your spirals.
That seemed not sincere.
I don't know how many examples we have as of late, but okay.
I mean, I'm sick now and I'm not spiraling.
Which that's a whole different which I don't know if that's from Dace, but you went to we were at the national championship and you were burning the candle on both ends, which is good. Like
I've been
need to do
sick
that.
since November. I feel like so.
Well, I feel like you had like a good week and a half in January, earlier in January. I feel like you did, but yeah, I think that there's. It's not just the month. Like I think there's the always something, and then there is maybe that's part of it too. Like this is, I mean, I have no idea if this is an interesting podcast for anybody else to listen to. Like let's have Dalen try to psychoanalyze himself. Sounds terrible. I'm sorry if this is terrible, but you're getting the brunt of it because I didn't want to do it twice. I didn't want to do it with you off camera, what you wanted me to do, and then we're doing it on camera.
Yeah, here we are.
There is a element of when do we get to do what we want to do? Like that may be some of this too. It's like there's so many need tos and have tos, and some of it's parenting, and some of it's work. I mean, yesterday I was on the road, but after I recorded a different podcast, worked, went to the gym for an hour, came back, and thought I'd like have some downtime. It was just cranking on different stuff until I went to the studio, and that is life, and everybody's life is like that. So I'm sure people can relate to that. It's like maybe that's how I'm wired to figure out we get to do this at some point, and that helps, mentally some of the stuff.
I agree that is most definitely how you're wired, and it's probably magnified in some way by kids just because you lose a little bit of the spontaneity, I feel like, in life when you have kids, just because it does have to be more planned in a lot of ways. But that's exactly what I was going to point out is like you've always been like this. Like we'll come back from a vacation and you're like sat on the plane and already planning the next vacation. Yeah, we've been every time, now the last couple of years that we've been together, when you're in basketball season, you're always looking for the light at the end of the tunnel. Like this now that we're talking about it and like you're saying how you're feeling isn't new to me. Doesn't mean that it's not different at all or it doesn't matter. It's not validated. But I do think that like when you're in this grind of basketball season, and especially now because I feel like in the past, at least when you were consistent with ESPN, it was crazy, but you kind of knew exactly where it was going to be consistent. Now there's some slower times, some busier times, some back-to-back, all these different things that you're managing and preparing for. And so I do think that as much as you love your job, there are different tolls that it takes on you during basketball season when it's so hard, where you're like, I need to know what the next thing is so that I can get through this thing. I think that's how a lot of people are, though.
I guess maybe, I don't know. I do think that traveling is getting harder too. Like, I used to not.
It's not as fun as it used to be, huh?
I mean, it was
because you miss me so much.
Absolutely,
now.
That's exactly it. And days.
Yeah, which was evident by how excited you are and how you feel being home now. You're just miserable.
I just want to sit on the couch with you. Is that okay?
That's what we're gonna do tonight. That's actually what I was thinking.
No, I have Field of 68 tonight, 11 o'clock.
Well, I guess we're just on the couch before that.
Hey, and watch basketball games. That's like
oh man, I was thinking that. I was like, oh, I just want to sit on the couch and do nothing tonight.
Well, sorry, babe. I mean, that's part of the problem. Like, yeah, we're not doing that. That's not happening tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, there is maybe we need to treat this back like the flight back from Europe we took, where I just ate and drank my feelings for the 9-hour flight.
I don't think
first
we
class.
need to treat it like that.
It was terrible and great all at the same time. Like, I'm enjoying this last day. I wasn't sad yet. I was like, I'm getting in every little morsel of enjoyment and excess that I can on this flight. Ma'am, come back, please.
Do you want me to pep up this podcast and take it a very different way for a second and make us look like really ungrateful, bougie people?
By all means, the shoe fits.
The first class experience on planes has changed a lot.
Oh, there you go. That's it. Let's talk about how it's not the same that it once was. That's why traveling's harder for you now.
No,
you don't feel as pampered. You don't feel as pampered anymore.
Don't look at me. You're the one that pointed this out first.
Well, yeah, it's not. It's like
thank you. So don't make fun of me. I was just saying it out loud. You were talking about what it was like on that plane. On the ride back, you hardly ever had to like track anybody down. Now
that was also a European transatlantic flight. That's a different thing. That's
we only fly first class if it's for work or if we have upgrades available.
Yeah.
We're not like booking first class tickets. We don't have it like that. Just to be very clear.
You've been very clear. That said, 99% of my travel, the only time I don't travel in first anymore is when you're there and we're days and we don't have the upgrades and we can't get it to work out. That's
You're welcome. I'm just a normal old gold person right now in Delta, just in the back with everybody
dragging
else.
me down to Gen Pop all the time.
Yes, you're in Gen Pop. Trying to get platinum status. Need to check on that and call Delta today as a reminder. Yeah, they used to like, before you took off, what can I get you to drink? Do you want any snacks?
They still do. It's hit or miss. It depends on like how much time, where you're coming from. Is it a regional flight? Like, there's a lot of stuff different.
I mean, I just flew to Phoenix on a 6-hour flight, and they didn't ask anything about drinks before you sat down or anything like that.
Oh, I'm hitting call button then. If I want a drink, like I'm gonna flag somebody down, especially if we're like if we're going across country. Like now, granted, I don't. That's the weird part too. This again sounds ridiculous, but when you fly first a lot, you're not drinking up there. I hardly ever drink on the plane. It just doesn't. It's not really beneficial. I mean, they're getting in late, or I'm going to work somewhere. Right. So or I'm coming home to like work at home. So here we go. As we just said, there's no point in drinking. There's a very, very rare times that it's happening, usually around the holidays. And that'll be like, all right, fine. But anyway, I digress. There's a certain reason for it. That said, if I want a drink, I'm bringing them back here. Like, we're doing this thing. Like, before I take, hey, ma'am, excuse me, can I get a whatever? Let's do this. Let's do it right.
You're not afraid to push the call button. I will say that.
Absolutely
because
not.
As we were traveling to Charleston with Dace on Christmas Eve, and we were basically about to go up in the air at 6:45 at night, and they still hadn't turned the lights off.
Bro, babe, she said, I'm about to do, as you're supposed to. I'm about to dim the light, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But
like they're supposed to. Like, when
then it was
use
like
your reading
15
light.
minutes.
No, it was like 25. We sat in the and I'm like now getting antsy and annoyed because Dave's supposed to be sleeping. I'm standing basically staring at the sun. And I called her back here, and then she did act like I was like she was doing us a favor.
She was like,
"Lady, you just said
I'm about to do it," AKA I forgot because she did it immediately, like
because we were in the air.
No,
we were already in the air. Yeah. I hit it at like 5 minutes into being in the air, being like, "All right, you haven't turned off the seatbelt sign yet."
We weren't in the air yet. We weren't in the air.
Really?
When you hit
okay.
Because that's why she walked up.
It's even less patience. All right, good. Okay. Good.
But we had been on the runway for forever, and she hadn't done it. We were taxiing out, and then we were sitting there. And we're like, "Why are the lights still on?"
Yeah.
You know what gets my baby out of a funk? Talking about first class on airplanes.
Or maybe it was just talking. Maybe it was just sharing.
It was just sharing.
Maybe I'm not. Maybe I just feel better talking about first class and travel. It's a distraction.
Maybe.
Any things are possible.
I do, yeah. But I mean, I think as much as I'm laughing with you or at you a little bit, I'm not really laughing at you.
That's what this is all about, folks.
No. I do.
Tell us how you think, feel, and your emotions, and Kelsey will laugh
make
at
fun
you.
Of you. No, you know I don't do that. Unless it's valid. I do think that you bring up something that's important about like having something to look forward to. And that doesn't mean that like you're just totally in this funk and you don't, I'm putting words in your mouth, but you don't, love your life and are grateful for all of the things, even the things that make it hard or whatever it is, but still having that bigger picture, something that you're working towards or something that you're looking forward to. We like to travel. We haven't been able to do a whole lot of that in any way that doesn't involve work in a long time, just because things have been so crazy. And so I do think that that's something that kind of like, I don't know, not just like lifts your spirit, but everybody has something. Everybody has something that's like, what's your thing that like gets you going or makes you want to work harder? Or what are you doing it for? And yours is booking a vacation.
I don't know if it's just, but it's a big part of it. I think actually, to make it broader, it is like time spent with people you love and care about, like your friends and family, like to be able to spend quality time with those people that actually matter to you, because those things they're fleeting. It's few and far between, and those are part of the things that make me excited. And yes, I know we'll do something in April with Leah, like I said, for spring break, which is fun. But so we're gonna do a little family thing. Where do we fit in? And that's like okay. All right. Where do anything with friends fit in? I don't know. Like
Well, we do have a couple date nights with friends planned,
which is exciting. That's true. See, that's good.
Which we haven't been able to do since November.
Yeah, which is true. So yes, it's not all bad. I'm trying to sit in gratitude as well. You're right. Love my life, love my job, love my family.
But don't say it like that, like masking other things.
But I'm just this is a weird way for me to come home. I guess that was the thing. I was like, I'd sit there. Why am I in this funk? This is not how I normally come back to our life and our world. I'm excited to come back and do whatever we are doing.
Especially when I was saying such nice things to you last night.
What were you saying last night?
About how much I missed you, and you looked hot on TV, and I wish that you were going to be back. And,
yeah, that was nice. That was good stuff. Let's keep that going as soon as this camera goes off. Let's do that.
I'm out a lot of nice things. I laid them all out last night.
Laid them all out.
It's your turn to say all the nice things. Speaking of that, you have been really, really nice and have been a words of affirmation guy lately.
There you go. I'm here for you, babe.
For our anniversary, you got, can I say it? You don't care.
Yeah. Why would this be something?
I don't know.
It's not we didn't get another
for our anniversary. She
got a $15,000. No, it's really.
Oh no,
simple.
I thought I was making it seem like it was a like sexual innuendo. Like,
like,
for our anniversary, are we okay to
that.
share this?
Yeah.
No, you got this thing that has like 365 notes, and then you're writing a love note on each of them a day. And I've been super impressed. And I don't know if I've told you how much it makes me happy. I don't know that the point of like you doing something for me is then, since I'm a words of affirmation person, I then tell you how happy it makes me every time and how much I appreciate you.
I don't do it for that, but I don't actually need you to do that because I know how it makes you feel. It's more like, if you want the real here, it was, I wanted to do something to make you happy. Yes, on our year anniversary, I want to do something that was different, that I thought you would think is special, but not, doesn't have to be about the money. It's what it is and what. So it has a little message on all of them, and then I write you something on the back. It's for you, but it's also like, I want to deliver on what you want and need, and for some reason I have fallen short in this area. I don't do it enough. I don't think of it enough, and I think this was a way to a creative way to do it and give you what you need, but also just make sure that I'm engaging and thinking about you, because I think the message too always makes me think about you and us and our family and our life. So it's like a nice little moment of pause and now my writing doesn't reflect that, but what I think about what I'm going to write is a nice moment of pause.
It's nice all the way around, and I appreciate that. I mean, I think that that's part of a successful relationship, is like, if I'm able to identify like, hey, this is something that means a lot to me that I wish you were doing or doing more of, and you're able to take that in and then act on that, and vice versa. Because I think a lot of times what goes wrong in relationships is like, we expect the other person to read our mind.
Oh yeah.
Like, why can't you tell that I'm annoyed that you haven't put these dishes away? Why can't you tell that I'm in a bad mood because I was thinking it would have been really cute if I came home to a note and then there was no note there? Like why can't you pick up on this? have I ever said out loud like that you load the dishwasher wrong? Have I ever said out loud, I wish you give me that? No, you actually do a good job loading the dishwasher.
Said both of those things.
That's
I think.
just like
the dishwasher. You okay with? I feel like the dishwasher. You don't like how I load the dishwasher, but you just let me do my own thing. I think.
Oh, that's true. You do put things in there that are too big sometimes, and then they like don't fit in there in a way that I think that they should. I actually thought when I was saying that the dishwasher was not a direct example, but when I think about it more, you do put some big pots and pans in there that I think
I
rarely
rarely ever put the pots and pans there. I rarely
some big bowls that I think should just be washed.
Fair, okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have chicken in them. I was one in the kitchen.
The
they
chicken
need to be
one
thoroughly,
definitely should be washed. Anyways, my point is, I think sometimes in relationships we expect the other person to read our minds, and then we react when they haven't, and it puts us in a negative funk. Because then I'm annoyed that you didn't do what I think you should do, but how would you do that if I never told you?
I think that's one of the biggest pitfalls in relationships, and I was guilty of that for years in different relationships. I always think that's why ours is different. It just started differently, and I acted differently, partially because of trying to understand myself better, and I said before because of how you were wired. But yeah, I mean, today's a good example. I didn't tell you. It's you left, and I just said, "Hey, I'm in a funk." Like I was trying to figure out my own. I just wanted you to know what was going on, because it isn't fair that I would walk in and you'd probably expect me to be way more upbeat or pleasant or anything, and I'm not there, and then I can't. Then you're wondering if I don't say anything why that is or what's going on. So I think it was just, I think that's something that people do all the time, and it's really debilitating for a relationship, but the individuals too, because it's a vicious cycle. Like you can't get out of it unless you communicate your way out of it. Because if you just do that, it's just going to go back and forth. It's not good.
Well, and I think sometimes people are afraid, like, well, if I tell you what to do, then it's not sincere if you're doing it. Because I told you what I needed. I told you to buy me more flowers, and now you bought me flowers. So are you doing that because I said to do it or because you wanted to? And the bottom line, I think, is who cares?
That's what I think what you hit is the biggest thing. And I think sometimes, and I've been guilty of this too, and maybe sometimes with you, like fighting it for no reason. Like being like, well, now she told me to do it. It doesn't make a difference. If it makes you happy, and it's a gesture of love or care, you're not asking anything massive of me, then why the hell are you not doing it?
Right.
But I'm not wired to just do it. I'm not wired to say jump and say how high. That's not, unless I was on the basketball court. That was not like how I've operated in life and relationships. And sometimes that's not healthy, which is a great point, because I do think people get caught up in like the motivation of it, or who did this, or it's almost like when you get credit for this or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, if the partner is happy about it, I don't think they care how it's done.
Well, and I think it's like, at first it's like, okay, well, they only did that because I told them to. Okay, but they did that because you told them to. Like, that's a good thing. They did that. They heard what you said. They reacted to what you said. They changed something about themselves to try and make you feel a certain way. So, like, you should get credit for that, no matter how big or small that change or gesture is. And then it has the potential, like, to become a habit. If it's something that you need more of or less of, it's like you have to start somewhere. So why are we worried about how that first step is taken in or where it came from versus just saying this person is trying to like meet me where I am. I need to meet them where you are. And I think it goes both ways. I think that there's a lot of things that if we communicate, you have to be open to receiving them for sure. And then you have to like not be, it's so funny, but like not be offended by the fact that they did what you told them to. Because then I think some people are too. Like you're saying you're in your head if I've told you, well, she told me to do it. But then if you then do it, I'm like, oh, well, I told him to do it. Does that count? Yeah, of course it counts. Because the alternative is I tell you and then you just don't do it. And then that like drives a deeper wedge in between people.
I think also too, I don't know if this works for both and both men and women. I have no idea. I only know my own experience. So I shouldn't even try to broaden it out to men. But I went through this with my therapist like 3 or 4 months ago. Like it came up because I was not delivering on, like, it was a lot of the notes. Like literally, like, why aren't you just, these aren't big asks. Can you just, it makes me feel good. I don't understand. So then you're trying to parse out why this is happening. And then she asked me, well, why do you think it's happening? And that was the hardest part, because I was like, there's no deep-seated thing here. I think I'm just being like lazy. It's not like I'm trying to fight you. It's not like I'm trying to do something that you don't want me to do, or that it's a huge ask. That's why, like, when I looked back on it and thought about it, I was like, well, why are you doing it? And that was really weird, because then I think I'm like, oh, well, is Kels extrapolating this out to being something bigger? Because I think it's just laziness. And you perform sometimes not listening, not like taking it and be like, how much and understanding how much this means. They are small gestures that go a long way for you. Okay, just do them. It's really not that hard, but if you don't do them, then the question becomes, well, why won't he do this?
Mm-hmm. I also think that, you started this thing with every day, and then immediately I was going out of town for 4 days. And it came, again, this goes back to like, say what you need or whatever. I was like, man, I'm going to go out of town for 4 days. And is he even going to think like about that he just started this 3 days ago and like what to do? And then I'm like, do I say something? Because then I don't want to feel like I'm stepping on his toes of this new thing he created. Like, do I say a hint about going out of town, or are you going to do this? And then I was like, if I don't say that and he doesn't do it, am I going to be mad that he didn't do it? And then the reason I didn't bring it up is because I was like, if you don't send him with me after you've just started this, then I was like, when I come back, I'll have multiple to come back to, because he'll like realize it while I'm gone and see them, we have it sitting right in our room. And the jar that I put in there, that's a nice touch, right? Or
Very,
you
very
put
nice
them in the
touch,
jar.
best touch ever.
And so I didn't say anything about it, but I bring that up because, again, that was a thing of like, I didn't want to do it to tell you. I didn't want to say it to tell you to do it and it take away from what you already had planned. But I felt like that was okay because I had already told myself, okay, well, like, yeah, I would be excited if you remembered to do it. But then I knew that I was going to come back to them anyway. So I was like, I'm not setting it up for failure in my head, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but even like things like that, now it helps to actually hear your rationale, because I think I went out of town first. I was gone the middle of last week, so I was gone first, and I wrote multiple things and left them for you. So I thought I set like a tempo there, but I think you said to me like, I'm gonna miss my notes or something. I thought you made some comment about it, where I already knew I was gonna wait for you to walk downstairs essentially, and I was gonna go upstairs and write them before I packed, which is what I did. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, I know what I'm doing, but I felt like you mentioned it because you were already in your head about
Maybe
it.
I did then.
But I was like, all right, I'm already gonna do this, lady. Like, don't. But again, this is kind of what you're saying. I think, and sometimes I may have reacted negatively to that, because there are times like, yo, you're really freaking hard to do anything special for. You ask way too many freaking questions. Just let me do something. If something seems abnormal, there's probably a reason for it, and just let it happen. I had no idea
you were proposing to me is always going to be shocking.
That's an all-timer, because that was like that. I don't know how you were lost on that one.
Did you think that I had any idea?
No. I didn't think you had. I mean, I really don't think you had known what was going on. Which is kind of surprising.
I had no idea.
Which is kind of surprising. But now as I look back on it too, like if a package shows up and I know it's for me and I know it's for you, the cards is the latest one. What is it? I open it. Joe, get off it says my name on it. Let me have it. Like, stop it. But that's a whole different kettle of fish.
Well, then you go get your own mail. You open your own mail.
I'm fine. All right.
Whatever.
But
there was 4 days worth of mail in the mailbox when I just got back.
How about that? I don't. The mail's your job. You do a great job at it. If I say like, don't worry about it, that should be a big hint. Okay. Don't worry about it. Then sometimes you'll get an attitude with me when I tell you like, hey, would you stop asking questions? Can you stop asking questions?
You had an attitude that time because you were annoyed because it was those notes and I didn't know. But I think if I asked,
and they were a week late.
You were already annoyed with them for sending them late. But I do think that if I say, what is this? And to your point, I'm always the one that gets the mail, the packages. I open it. I tell you what it is, whatever. I open your mail. I don't open the packages. Just because I don't know if you've ever ordered something. But when I ask you and you're like, don't worry about it. Well, now I'm worried about it. What the hell is it? Versus, I know what it is. I got it. Just leave it there, or something that's like, I can't. But there are times if I like leave the house with like, if I'm going somewhere to do something that I know is like for you, you will question where I'm going, and then I'm like, do I lie, or I just feel like, hey, I got to do some things. Like, just let me do something occasionally without you having the answer. The downfall of TFEs is we always know everything about each other. So if you apparently tell me that to leave it alone, what's in the box, then I need a little more context to know why.
What's in the box? You don't. The movie 7.
Anyways, I don't know how we got on that.
We haven't talked about your TFEs at all right now, but before we get there,
okay. Do you have a box for me? What's in the box?
What's in the box? The last part I'll ask about myself then here. Just bring it back to me again one more time. Just one more time, yeah. Well, no, because there are the things that I think, the little things that go a long way for you that I know you like, want, and need that you've communicated, as we just went over. Some of them been delivered on. Some there's still remains to be seen. There's more work to always be done. Even if you do them, there's no reason to stop doing them. what are those things for me?
It's funny that you say that. As we were talking about this, I was like, I wonder if he has, well, because I think again, this is going to sound like I'm like tooting my own horn.
Toot that shit, girl.
But I think I ask you very often, like, how are you? What do you need? Like, can I do anything for you? Like, I think I'm always, I like to be there for you. I like to show up for you. I like to, do whatever it is I think that like makes you feel good. And so I feel like I ask you that a lot, and sometimes it's little things. I don't think you have like a lot of big things. Like, I still leave you notes. I don't know if they mean anything to you, but
they're always nice to read. There's one down by my bed still.
I just threw that one away because I couldn't find any paper. Usually I save them, but that was written on like a cardboard note.
It was very creative.
So I don't know that there's like little things that I think you need. I think your time sometimes is a part of it. I think mentally, if you get a workout in, you're a better person. So sometimes I think that's like almost like an acts of service thing for you. Like, you need that mentally. I think other ones are maybe more.
Gotta let a guy go to the bathroom. Is that the one you're thinking of?
No.
Gotta let me.
I was thinking other ones are, what do you need to like feel good? I mean, like, I'm gonna watch you on TV, and like I think that's something that means a lot to you, is like watching you and giving you feedback, but also being like, you look hot. Like, I think you also like knowing and feeling how interested I am. I don't know if that's wrong.
I don't think it's wrong. I wouldn't. I mean, you're a busy person. I wouldn't think anything of it if you didn't watch, or didn't watch as much as you. I'm always surprised.
No.
You watch a lot.
I mean how interested I am in like you as a whole, not like what you're doing on TV. But like,
well, that's part of like being. I mean,
you're
that's
hot. I want you. This like.
Well, that I love about us. I think that's a good thing for us. That's a healthy relationship thing that we have that I'm aware not every couple has. So I'm thankful for that. And you communicate it all, which is great. Again, as soon as this is over, back to the list. It's great. But I do think it's interesting. Like, you watch, sometimes I'll be surprised that you watched whatever's on. And I do think it's cool, obviously, if Dace is still awake or he's up, you'll have him.
He was so excited to see you last night.
Which is cool. And I do think that, like, I think you probably watch me more than I watch you. Which is, like, I try to watch a lot, but there are times where I'm like, you make it a point, especially if the kids are up, to have the TV on, I feel like. And when we got into routines, when you were doing the morning sports center, it was on every morning.
Yeah.
There are periods of time when you do that 6 to 7 show, a lot of times we'll turn it on. Like, if it's, I don't want Dace to eat anymore with the TV's on, because then he just stares at you, or anything that's on the TV. But more so his mommy, for sure. But yeah, if he's just walking around, like, we'll have it on then, so like he can see you and stuff. But yeah, I think I'm always, because it's also you mentioned your point earlier. Your channels and destinations are kind of locked. Mine are spread out all over the place on different formats and platforms and all this other stuff. So I do appreciate, I guess, that you do that, and your mom does too. Like, your family cares, which is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. It's not what I was used to, and just outside of my mother, that's the only person that really is as committed as you are to watch whatever crap I'm doing.
I used to. I remember when we like first started dating, I would listen to your games. When you were doing them. And like even that, and I think that was like this, like, I guess, still feeling like new, just like being excited to like hear what you were talking about or what you were doing. And that was what I mean, I guess, if that was basketball season. So yeah, that
do you think that, like, this is do you think that did you assess how you listened to me and heard me on TV once we started dating, like, do our job, and vice versa for me, for you? Was it any different? Like, once we started, like, broke into a different period of our relationship, did we consume what each other's do for work in a different way? Did you consume differently we sat next to each other at a desk for 2 or 3 years, 4 years?
Well, yeah, as you pointed out, I never listened to what you said then. You were saying
well, you're a terrible listener, which is a whole different problem. You said too much. That's part of the issue. Too much. Well, I'm sure I still am, but and probably talking too fast. All the things that you still tell me about. But we sat there, we worked together for so long. Does your perspective of the person doing their job change when the relationship changed?
How so?
Like, do you become more critical, less critical? Do you want the person to do, are you more invested in, are they doing well or not? Are you more likely to tell them or not? Are you more likely to...
Definitely more invested, definitely would tell you more. Like, at that point, the first however many years we worked together, from what time we started there, from 2019 until 2023, I'm like taking you in just as like, I want you to do well because you're either the analyst or the host. And so like if I put you in a good position, then we look good. But I wasn't going to like give you any feedback. I was like still so new there. And even now when I work with people, I have to like get to know them, to see, because most people like feedback, because most people I think in this business are like former athletes and everything, but they're still like walking a line of like, is that right or not? Now I'm definitely more invested because like, I think you're awesome. I want everyone else to see how awesome you are. And if there's something that I think could make you better, then not only do I want to tell you, but I'm more comfortable because I think we have a dialogue and respect for each other and then for what we do as well, and for other opinions. And because I know it's a hard business to get feedback in. It depends on who you're working for and who you're working with. And the other thing about this industry is like everybody has a different opinion. Yeah. Whenever I give like a college kid advice or they send me a reel, I'm like, take it or leave it. This is my thought. But if you ask 10 people, like 8 of them will say something different. Yeah. So I think that factors in too. But I mean, I definitely think I say more. What do you think? Do you have a different perspective?
Well, I think this is also why we're different in our jobs. Like, I have no problem telling somebody if I just worked with them, if it's not going well, like I don't have no problem. I will find a way to make some sort of comment. And we've talked about this recently.
Probably why I thought you were a curmudgeon.
But no, like, not in a negative way. Like, if somebody has any intimation that they are a question or they don't understand why I did this way, or hey, what do you think about this? Like, I'm giving you my unvarnished opinion, not in a cold way or cruel way, but in a way that like I'm trying to articulate exactly what I think in a way that can be received, and not telling you, oh no, it was really good. If it's not good, like, you'll hear me, like, I would say like, well, yeah, I mean, we can do this. Like, I'm not gonna reassure, and I would want the same thing for me. Like, if it's not good, just tell me. And I guess that's the difference. Is the biggest thing I feel, obviously, is to your point, like you were saying, if we were doing a show together, I'd want you to be good and whatever. I don't think I cared if you were good. I thought if our show was good, but if you botched a bunch of highlights, I'd be like, that's a tough show for her. Like, but like, I mean, I can't change that. Like, it is what it is. But now I feel that differently, and it's like I sit there and I want you to do well, and you do well, and you're great at it, and I want to make sure the same thing. I want people to see how good you are at your job, and honestly how much you said as you were new, like how much you've grown in this job too. Like, it wasn't the doing the news, like things, the capabilities you have in terms of like editing, setting up, shooting, all the stuff you did in local news. I can't do any of that shit. But in terms of like just hosting like a 30 or an hour show or 2-hour show, I've been doing that for 15 or 16 years. So it's a different thing, I think, whenever we first met in 2019 to do the job. So like how much you've grown and how you've changed and what you do. Like, I loved watching. I mean, I love watching the development in the last couple of years, like when I care.
Because before, watching what?
The development in the last couple of years, like when I've cared.
Yeah.
But before, it was like there was no. We were on the same team, but it was like, all right, well, I mean, hope the show's good, but if she sucks, whatever. Like, that was not the best way to look at things, but it's definitely how I went through stuff.
Interesting, not surprising.
Anyway, sorry. Do you want to get to your TFEs now? 40 minutes
we never finished. Do you think that there are things that you have that are like, if you want me to do that?
As my phone goes down, and Dave's probably woke up from that, which would be great.
No, he's good.
I think there are 2, maybe 3 things, and I think you hit the right word. There is no more valuable commodity in this world than time, and like how my time is spent, and like understanding how I work, like on schedule and stuff like that, is hard because we don't both operate in that same world. And I get it, I'm kind of like rigid in it, and if it's on the calendar, like it's supposed to be done at this time, and to move it, there has to be a reason to move it, including this pod or including anything else we're doing. Like, why are we not doing what we talked about doing in the schedule? Even with kids and stuff, that's hard. That's been a hard part of the flex. I think you understand the physical exertion has a huge effect on my mental and emotional state. So working out, like in any capacity, is crucial. And I think you understand how my body works, like physiologically, that if I don't do that and I planned on doing it, that's a problem. If I plan on taking an off day, we're good. But if you didn't, then we got a big problem. I think you also, to some extent, understand the obsession I've grown with golf. And like, that is a long time commitment. But there's literally nothing else in this world outside of you and our family that makes me more happy than being outside and playing golf.
Really glad you added me in the family.
Absolutely.
Good edit there on the fly.
Close second. It's a distant second. But it's just I can't explain it. Like I love being outside. I love the again, it comes back to what we said start the pod. For those 3 or 4 hours, sometimes 5, depends on how long the course is and what's going on.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't like to turn my phone on. I don't like to check emails. I don't want to be on a phone call. I don't necessarily want you to call. I want to be disconnected from what is going on. And that like break is awesome. And if you have me doing it with people that you love and care about, that's a whole different thing. And that's, if you're doing it by yourself, it's enjoyable. But if you're going to share that time with other people that you care about, those are like things that I remember all the time, and spending that time with those people, which always comes back to time. And last but not least, guys take deuces longer. So I got to be in there, and you got to just leave me alone for a little bit. And that's okay. And that's
First of all, I do always leave you alone.
You do. And I tell you what, I do appreciate that. I really do. Thank you very much. Didn't always work like that for me in life. Sometimes you got to be, it felt like a military training. You had to ask, and then it had to be a time limit on it. Not great. Not good for your body or mind.
What? There's a time limit?
Felt like it. Felt like it in there. Tough.
I mean, sometimes you do take long, so maybe I can't fully judge that for someone that can literally walk in, flush the toilet, and walk out.
I will take this to the grave. This is one of the biggest differences in the sexes. I don't know what goes on there with women. I don't know how it's humanly possible. You guys got a million things you're juggling. How your body can just sit there, work, and you're done, and you're out. No clue how that happens. But I do know how it is as a man. Sit down, let things process. Think about the world. Think about the life. Maybe read some stuff. Maybe send some texts.
I just can't
contemplate, and then your body just you can relax, and you're just good.
It being an effort to poop, like I just have to go, and I go. I
didn't say effort. I just said it's a process, and sometimes it is immediate, but maybe you gotta wait. Maybe there's more to come. I don't know. Maybe there's a second wave. You're gonna hang out. There's no rush.
Butt gets cold sitting there.
Sometimes your legs fall asleep. Things can happen. Things can happen. And you may not understand that if there's a dude listening to this pod, they know what's up. They've been there.
No, that's not me at all.
And you weren't any other woman that I've ever been around. It's like, it's insane. I don't know how it works, but you guys are missing some quality time in there.
Well, we just know that we don't have much of it, so.
Well, that's why I appreciate you understanding that it's important to me.
I'm glad that you prioritize poop, and you feel like I do as well.
Thank you.
My TFEs.
What a transition.
1 hour in.
Yeah.
Thoughts. I'm very excited you're home. I am bummed that you still have to watch basketball tonight, even though I knew you probably would. Feelings. I just want to feel better. I'm like so tired of being snotty and gross, and just I probably just need to go to the doctor, and I needed the steroid antibiotic or something.
You don't think late nights into early mornings contributed to that at all?
Yeah, Dad, but this was happening before I went there. In the last,
I guess you said you were feeling a tickle in your throat. I forgot that. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't just say I was feeling.
So you don't think that tickle was exasperated by the late nights and early mornings?
Yes, Dalen. Okay. I just said, but you act like I partied all night and got up.
No, like your body has been taxed for a long time. Like this is just another time.
Yeah, I think that you're forgetting about the fact that like every night you like hear me snoring because I haven't been able to breathe in forever. That
I hear
angels when you're coughing in our face, and I was literally coughing in our face.
Oh God.
So yeah, I feel like I just want to feel better.
Yeah.
And then emotions. What are my emotions? I am a little bit like, I don't know if anxious is the right word about, because I feel like that's always my word for something, but this is going to go a different way. This winter weather that's about to come through and what that means. And it just kind of not just like getting in the way for us, but it sounds like being a real problem for a lot of people, really across the country. So I have been thinking about that and how we need to get a snow blower, because I love you so much for trying to shovel things, but I have to shovel after you shovel.
Nah, that's BS, by the way. Hold on.
You didn't even do the front stairs.
Hold on. Yes, I did. You weren't here, Kels. I juggling both those kids and trying to find a time to shovel can only be when Dace is napping. So it's happy the snow stopped for a little bit. It still snowed a little bit, but I'm like, I got to get out there. I saw other people doing it. Maybe we're done. I don't know. It doesn't look like we're done, but let's go do this. I didn't know it was supposed to snow. We had no salt. So we have no salt, nothing to help lay it down before. I didn't know it was going to happen. So even if I did have salt, it wasn't going to help at the time. You go out there, you shovel everything clean. 2 or 3 more inches comes in. What do you want me to do?
Front steps?
Yes. I woke him up doing the front steps, by the way. So thank you very much. And then I did the whole front walkway there.
The walkway I could tell, but the stairs look completely different than else.
It snowed again. So, and then it's nighttime. Got to put it in bed. I'm not going back out there at 8 o'clock at night. Wasn't doing it.
We need a snowblower. I just think
I don't think we need a snowblower. I think we have salt. We will shovel appropriately. Now, our friends across the street have a snowblower, and with this 15 inches comes, we're borrowing a snowblower. That's for damn sure.
I was already looking to see if we could get one before this weekend.
Nah, man. We're just walking up. We got both of them. Jack and Dave have snowblowers. We're using one.
Shout out to Jack and Dave. We're going to use your snowblower, and then you don't have to do it for us. Yeah, I hate the weather. I'm glad that it's getting like a little lighter because you mentioned, and kind of serious, kind of joking earlier about like seasonal depression like that. Like you can get in a funk so easily up here just because it's so cold. It's hard to go outside. It's dark at like 3:45 in the afternoon. When I first moved up here, everyone was like, buy a salt lamp. I was like, wait, what? They're like, you need a salt lamp. Like it'll help. That is. A salt lamp? Oh, I'll get us one. I just sat in a salt room while I was out of town on my day off.
Salt room. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it helps your body and cleanses your body. And anyways, they were like, it helps seasonal depression. And I got one. I don't know what it did or didn't do.
Well, let's get another one. I don't know if it's effective at all. Let's get one.
Let's try it. Anyways, so that's part of my feelings. And then the other part of my feelings, I think, is probably, emotions. Which one are we on? Is like a little bit of gratitude for the experiences of the football season, and then gratitude that football season's over. Because as crazy as basketball season is, this stretch that I've been living in of trying to like be great and locked in at football and great and locked in women's basketball, and then also great and locked in some in men's basketball, that's probably the hardest stretch for me outside of when we actually get to the tournament and things are so back to back. So standing at the national championship and watching the confetti fall, even though it was not Miami, and I would have loved to see it for Mario Cristobal and those players that we've gotten to know so well with the ACC network. This is the first time that I always bring home confetti. I forgot to bring it there. That's right, yeah. I brought it home from the other ones, even though I don't have them put anywhere now. But I do always try to take it in. It's special. It's special. There was a time I was sitting up top with Tom Luganbill, and let me tell you this was wild. The difference from being on the field to being up where our set was about maybe 35 degrees.
You guys kept saying that because I was flipping back and forth between your pregame show and game day, and you guys said it first.
We were right by game day. It was.
I figured that, but once they both told me how cold it was, I'm like, it doesn't look cold because I'm seeing people's content on the field. I'm seeing reports on the field. I'm like, they look fine.
It was freezing up there. We ended up having to get the heated blankets out. Like even Lugs was under a heated blanket, not just me being dramatic. But so we were sitting up there watching the game in Miami. I guess it might not have even been, it had to be the first touchdown. It was Mark Fletcher scored his first touchdown. And where we're at, we're on the top level, so you can see everyone. It's an awesome view in the, kind of the corner, not the end zone, so you have a good view of the field. And you just look around and you see everybody just like losing their mind and celebrating. We're on the Miami side. It is so cool. Mm-hmm. Like sports are so cool. The way that they bring so many people together to walk around and just like see all of these people in that one moment, just like, oh my gosh. And then to think about like how much money they spent to be at that national championship game and this core memory that they're having with friends or family, or I don't know. I just like had this moment, or like have this ability, like where I always kind of like take somebody else's perspective. And so I'm like looking at them celebrate. And I just thought that was so special. So gratitude for, getting to be there and experience it all. And then the other thing, and this is kind of a bigger picture thing, we're talking about how mundane it is to be a parent sometimes, or a lot of the time. But I'm looking at all these videos of Fernando Mendoza with his family and with his mom and all the things going viral with his dad. And she, as it's well documented, is in a wheelchair, has multiple sclerosis. And it's hard to say. And, have you seen everybody talking about how he doesn't stand to celebrate? Mm-hmm. I just was wondering if that was my algorithm or yours as well. in their story, and they just seem like such special people. I've already talked, I think, on the podcast even how much I love just hearing him in his post game interviews. He's so polished, but he's just like, you're like, wait, what? You're the starting quarterback?
Yeah.
You're the quarterback that just took this team 16-0 to win a national championship after they won 3 games 2 years ago. It's wild. But I cannot look at that and not like get emotional thinking about like, I cannot imagine what it's like as a parent to see your child live out their dreams. Mm. Like, it makes my eyes water just saying I'm so dumb and so soft. But like, we went to a play on Broadway a couple weeks ago, and I was crying during not the credits, but you know, as they're bowing for the same thing.
Curtain call, yeah.
The curtain call, because I can't imagine what it feels like. I'm thinking about like if their mom or dad is sitting in there, or grandma or aunt or whatever, like whoever important in your life, to see how proud you must be to see someone reach like a dream or a goal that, you know, only a few people reach. I can't imagine what that feeling is like. And it doesn't have to be on the biggest stage where, you know, 67,000 people are there to see if you can win a national championship or not. You know, it might be the school play or whatever. But it's just, it's something in parenting that I guess, I don't know if it can really be explained. And then you probably like experience different levels of it as you go. I don't know. Does that make sense? Do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really good point you made, because you said it to us when we left. You didn't say it while the curtain call was going on. We walked out of the show, and we were walking towards Times Square. So there's other theaters we're passing, and Lin-Manuel Miranda's latest one, the Buena Vista Social Club, was in the theater next to us, and it looked like there was the actor entrance there to the side. Yeah. That had all those people congregated, and that's when you said it to me. You're like, can you imagine? I was like, wow, man, these are all waiting for the actors to come out. You're like, can you imagine being their parents and like how you'd feel watching that? And no, like, because that's one of those professions where I sit in awe of what goes on and how the talent and the ability. And with the show we saw with 5 people without any stage hands, like they're moving the stage sets, they're doing the court, like that British style of playing multiple actors, and just, it was awesome. And it was so well written and so well done. So I'm like, yes, it's something that is like that apex level, a national championship game where you're playing for literally a team of immortality, or in another university that's going to be, you know, bringing back a championship, which they thought was their birthright for 20 years. And they haven't won one in 25 years. And they were bad for some of those years. Like, you are, either one of those teams are going to do something that any sports fan and a lot of casual fans will remember forever. So yes, at the highest level, it is emotional. It is, I can't believe it. They kept cutting to Mark Fletcher's mom, which was cool during the game, because she had her mic'd up, I think, at times. Mm-hmm. And he obviously had a really good game. And there's a story about losing his father. And I can't understand it yet. I imagine and hope we will see that. But even at the smaller stages, you feel that and see that. You're seeing your kid at times, I think, bring themselves joy, and if they can, bring others joy. And I do think that's what's unique about sports. And Roger Bennett, one of the Men in Blazers, a soccer podcast I've listened to for years, he always says, you know, the object of sport, he always talks about football makes you feel things. That's why we love it. Because in that sport in particular, one referee decision, one stroke of the ball, one pinky from a goalie is from the greatest thing in the world to the worst thing in the world. And there's very, like that, you run the gamut of emotions in those 90 minutes, and you know more than most playing soccer of how the smallest moment can have such a ripple effect of emotion, positive and negative. And that's why, I mean, it's part of why we love sport. And I don't think people connect to that honestly right away when you think about it, but that is, I think at the heart of it is what it makes you feel. And there aren't that many things in your life that can make you feel like that and make you feel the pride of something or the joy of something. I imagine nothing like your child, watching them succeed. I think that's most of our goals, is to have your kids be better and greater and have more and do whatever they want to do. Mm-hmm. For you, and it's funny, when I think about my dad watching me play like sports growing up, parents told me this all the time, and like, especially when I got older, like our friends now, like my friend John and Brett and Ben, all these guys we play with, if you talk to their parents, they sat there in the stands with my dad all the time. They would be amazed because he was so quiet. He wouldn't say much. I think he was an outspoken person. Like, good or bad, he didn't really react in most things. And we were younger when this is just a fact, and I'm sure you felt it too. In most sporting events, up until I was, 15 or 16, especially, like, you're the best player on the field, whether it's basketball or baseball or soccer or swimming. Odds are I was the best player on the field. He never reacted anything positive or negatively. Meanwhile, other parents are going nuts. I think part of that, and he never explained it to me, was he had an expectation. There was an arrogance about, well, you're my son, and I was a really good athlete, and you should be fine. And I'm going to teach you how to play the games the right way and be committed to your teammates, and you should be doing what you're doing. But the thing that I knew he was proud of is that I got to Columbia. And that was the one thing that, like, he would tell other people that he wanted to say that because he knew that I accomplished something that he wanted me to do. That it kind of validated him as a parent, I think, in somewhat in his regard, and made him proud. He wouldn't talk about it to me very often, but I knew he told his golf buddies all the time about my son. When I committed, like, this is where he's going. He was excited about that. That's also why I knew I was going to school there because there was no choice in the matter. It's like they accepted you. They want you to play basketball. You're going. But there was some selfishness in that. But there's also it's the same thing. If you listen to me and do this, I'm telling you your life will be better. And he was right. And his byproduct of that was for him to look back and be like, I left him in a better stead than I was at. I got him to a station, at least in 18 years old, that I was not at. And hopefully that carries him forward. And I look forward to us feeling that pride. And sometimes Lyra at the talent show last year, like I wasn't there, but I got to watch it on FaceTime and she's up there. I was like, this is awesome. Because she's so happy about it. And and again, she's giving us joy, but hopefully she grows into that or whatever she wants to do. It's if you're bringing your child is in that joyful state, but if they're bringing others, they're moving their emotions for other people, I think that takes you to another heightened level.
I agree. And I think sports are special because of that team and that camaraderie. And then, of course, it has the ability for 60,000+ people and millions all over the country and world to be watching and rooting for or against you. You can be the hero or the villain really quick in sports. But I think it's much bigger than that. I mean, I took Dace to his appointment today and he got shots and he cried. And then as soon as he sat up, he's still crying. He goes, I did it. And like immediately proud of himself. Like, okay, I did that. I did that. And then even that, I'm like, I'm proud of you, buddy. Yeah, you did it. Like, I think instilling that pride and then feeling and seeing like when they're proud of themselves for doing something, whether it's on a big stage or on a small one, is something that you're right is, one of the greatest joys of parenting is getting to see who they become and them live out their dreams. And, we talk about, well, what if he does this or what if he does that? Or do you think he'll do this? Or do you think he'll do that? And like, who knows? I don't care what it is. I just want to see him continue like to grow and learn. And, it's the little things right now of like, oh my God, now you're putting 3 words together, or are we going to potty train him? He's talking about this or that. It's little things. But then even we can see with Lyra, like some of the bigger things that, mean a lot. And it's special. I felt it when, like I said, when we were leaving that Broadway play, but seeing Fernando's mom, I'm just like, I cannot imagine of all the stress of what that feels like. Before the ACC championship game, Chandler Morris's parents were in like our green room with us because his dad was coming on ACC network, and while his dad was doing TV, his mom and his sister were in there, and I was like, how are you guys during the game? And they're like, terrible. It's awful. Like, it's amazing, but it's so hard. Like, your heart is outside of your chest watching this like human that you created and love so much. And it's interesting, his sister, was the same way. Chandler, I remember, she's 7 years younger than me, my younger sister. And I remember going to her soccer games in high school. And I relate to your dad because I could not say anything. Like all those people that were yelling, y'all didn't play soccer, you don't know what you're talking about, and you're yelling about offsides, and that's not even what offsides means. So I would always have to sit somewhere, like I would want to be somewhere else because it would annoy me so much just to hear all these people like yelling at the refs and yelling at the parents and players. But the amount of pride that I felt, and also just like fear and desire for her to do well, and that was like just my little sister, I'd always be like, I can't imagine what it's like having kids, because watching her, I'm a nervous wreck. So
I've never felt that, because when I've been, my little brother and sister didn't compete like that. There was nobody. It's only been detached with the Steelers or Arsenal, like that's the, or any teams. But again, that is different than your child. It's a different story, or your family member. It's a different story. It's interesting. I've never sat there and experienced that. I will say that you mentioned how your parents are. Like I said, my dad was very quiet. Well, man, the only time he would, if I ever missed a free throw, he would yell, breathe. because part of my like on the free throw line, I always had to like exhale and shoot the ball, and I was like an 89% free throw shooter. So if I missed, he was that got him animated. And if it was a home game, everybody's quiet. So the one thing I would hear when I got the ball was breathe. That was kind of weird. But anyway, I digress. My mom came to my games my senior year. Dad came to a lot of games in college. He was retired. My mom worked for an airline. He flew for free. We've gone over this on the pod. But you can walk in Columbia's gym up on the top of the stands. There's just an opening, and it walks out to like the main lobby. Her and Brett's mom, these two old Italian ladies. Brett's mom's not old at the time. My mom was old. Just walking like psychopaths. Not even watching the game, just walking around. Could not handle sitting down. Like couldn't be there. Also, because she has no idea like what she's watching still, which is amazing to me. But she's watched that much basketball and doesn't really understand it still. But just could not function just sitting on her butt and watching the game, which is fascinating. Because I've always said as a player, I was never nervous. I was always like, oh, because you're in the outcome. Like you're good. Like I'm good. Like I'm fine. It's once you remove yourself from that, I imagine the nerves are a whole different level. You have zero impact.
No, and you just have to be there for them, good or bad, thick or thin, or if they're not a sports person and they say this is y'all's dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything for the good before we go? I have an idea. If not,
go ahead.
Nothing.
I've talked enough this pod, I think.
My good before we go is your girl went to therapy.
Oh, that's right. How'd that go?
If at first you don't succeed and the therapist doesn't email you back, they suck. Try again. I emailed 3 different therapists. All 3 of them emailed me back the same day. I was like, oh, this is the experience I was expecting.
You said they didn't respond to me. I'm like, your email's up. I see an email right here. Do you remember this? I saw like the 2 emails just came in. I was like, no, this lady responded. And within me saying, like, oh, another lady responded. Yeah. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, we share emails now. We share everything, so no secrets here.
We don't share them, but you got to click a button. I didn't click the button, but go ahead.
It went well, I think. I mean, I don't know. It's a little weird because I talked to 3 of them on the phone. I want to start in person, and maybe I would do tele, but I just want to meet somebody first. I'm a talker. I'm a relationship person.
I'm aware.
And so one of the ladies doesn't have any openings for in person right now and just had somebody virtual. So I started talking to the other 2. I scheduled dates with both of them. I feel a little bit like a player because I'm like, what am I going to do? I did break up with one of them today because I was like, I need to be fully committed to one before I decide to do the other.
There you go.
So anyways, I went in for the first time and it was good. I mean, I think the funniest thing for me is making sure that I don't psychoanalyze myself. Like,
I wish you'd have told me this what you were going to do because I have a lot of questions. We've gone long on this pod. I feel like we could dive into this quite a bit.
Okay, we can talk about it another time. But yeah, or we talk about it now.
No, your feelings. Let's talk.
We'll talk as long as we want. As long as my nose doesn't run off my face. My biggest thought is like, I have to make sure I get out of my own way and I don't psychoanalyze myself because I feel like I so often try to identify, even if it's like we're talking about me spiraling. And I told the lady that I'm terrified to throw up and this is something I want to talk about. She's like, when do you think this started? Was this like, what is, just asking me questions about it. And I'm like, yeah, I've done this. Like I've thought through, was there a moment that this started? What created this? What was it? And then she's like, well, do you think you're scared of if you throw up something bad's going to happen or if Dace does? And I'm like, no, I am just scared of it. And I was like, she's like, is there a deeper fear here? And I'm like, no, I've thought about that too. And then I talk myself off when it happens. What's the worst thing that happens? Somebody gets sick. Maybe you get sick. You deal with it. When he was sick, he's thrown up all over you and I'm fine. So I think it's like gonna have to be getting on my own way, not just with the throw up thing, but even big picture. I had no trouble talking that entire hour and telling her at least the 5 big things that I think have happened in our life over the last year or my life or how I'm feeling that I want to work on. And then as I'm leaving, I'm like, I wonder what that was like for her. Like most people, it probably takes her like 6 sessions to get that much out of them. Like, what do you do with me? Like, are you like, this girl doesn't stop talking? She's going to be a problem because she thinks she already has it figured out because she's not afraid to talk about it. And so like, that is kind of where my brain went, was like almost like psychoanalyzing the fact that like, I'm not afraid to share. So like pull more out of me. Like what do you want to get to?
Well, I mean, Yes, that's true. But I mean, these people are professionals. They've dealt with personality types across the spectrum. I think one of the hardest things to do is, you said it already, it's like get out of your own way. Is be willing to say what you're feeling or what the issues are, what you're perceiving or whatever. But also, as they're taking it in and able to build a relationship with you, you're listening to what they're playing back to you and what they're saying back to you, or what they're analyzing is coming back. Versus, as you said, you were kind of answering. You were thinking about answering your stuff as you're going. You're
and I think part of that was because
through.
We're not there yet. It's like just asking me questions.
But I think that's one of the hardest parts. But and I think it's easier for some of us than others. Like, just let it go. And if you can like let it go, it'll help you. But it'll help her too. Just to be like, yeah, this shit's kind of weird, or this is bizarre, or I don't understand this, or I don't want to feel like this, whatever it may be. But if you're trying to solve your own problems as you're doing it, it's like you're doing two jobs. Like, you just gotta like let it go.
I know.
And I'm no
psychology
expert.
minor. Okay?
There you go.
No, I know everything there is to know.
I just think it's so hard. It's easy to say. It's harder to do. And I think it's also like they're a professional, and let's be real, you're paying them. So who gives a shit if there's what they think about like what's being said or what's going on or what you perceive as your issues. And I think you will see too that, as you're talking about some things that are, you think the issue is actually something else, and this is a byproduct of that or whatever. And the only way for them to understand that or get that is for you to what you just talk and just divulge all the stuff.
I did. We went through all of the things.
Uh-huh.
It is funny though, when you're like talking about all these real life things, like, okay, we've had these job changes. We have co-parenting things. We, suffered a miscarriage last year and dealing with that. And my son had something scary that happened that I know I still have some trauma over. Real serious things like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, and there is one other thing. I'm terrified of throw up. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that one's out of left field.
Right.
She's like, okay.
I'm like, so do you think you're the person to help me with all of these things? Because we need to get through all of them. So it felt good just to go for the first time and kind of like start that process. I think there's a part of me that's like anxious to like feel more in the process, like know that this is the person that I want to work with. Yeah. And, not that I have a difficulty like repeating all of it to somebody else, because I don't.
That sounds like one of your favorite things, actually.
I like talking.
I know.
And I like listening.
But I do, yeah. And as long as
like, but wait, what about you?
Good Lord, please don't do that.
I'm just kidding.
She's like, well, it's not I'm a clinician.
Yeah.
I think going all in with this person is a great decision. I hope that,
I
it
hope
works.
Jill didn't get mad and email me back and tell me I'm terrible because I'm not working with her yet.
Well, I hope it works out. I hope it's great. But also, I think you're going in all in to try to make this relationship work with this person. But if after 4 or 5 or 6 you don't feel like it's working, then yeah, I think that's also something to be like, this isn't for me, and this relationship is not for me, and you pivot to somebody else, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm. So you're not my only therapist anymore.
Good, because I'm a shit job at that.
Nah, you're pretty good. All right, how do you feel? Do you feel better?
I do feel better. Feel great. Maybe in about 10 minutes. Let's hang this thing up. Let's wrap this shit up.
See you next week.
Deuces.